well, better than racing and the IndyCar series, and that's why, United Fiber and Data, we were looking for something unique, something different, something that wasn't that old corporate stuffy, type of industry. So IndyCar really was something that related to us, and, we loved racing, and really the B2B component, just looking at IndyCar paddock, you were there at the Indy 500. How many Fortune 100 and 500 companies did you see there? Tons. And we were able to, Michael Andretti is able to take us hand by hand, and hold us our hand and give us a warm introduction to these, corporates, these CEOs, these decision makers who are out there buying fiber and data center services. So with that, Chad, do you want to add to that?
Well, I think it's, especially with a telco company like United Fiber and Data, it's, we don't have a tangible product in the sense that, it's, a beer bottle or whatever that you can put in front of someone. It's, fiber optic cable that's stretched currently all around Manhattan and headed down to Ashburn, Virginia. And so one of the things that happened is that racing opens up this incredible experiential marketing opportunity where you can take the clients that you want to win over to an event, and it's a fan-friendly, family-friendly event. And it has an edge to it, just like we did as the founders of the company. There's an edge to us, and so we really could see that. First of all, that it looked exciting from the outside, and then when we got involved and we saw our clients' excitement, it was a win-win-win. Literally, our 1 + 1 = 3, and so now we're passionate about the support, and of course, thanks to Bill's help, we spread our wings and gotten into stadium super trucks and EXR, and it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, I got one question we got to shoot at you, Chad. I know before we went on air, you were saying you're really good about not slipping up and saying 4-letter words when you're on AM, FM, and terrestrial radio, and I got to ask you, because this is going to get bleeped when I say it because before it goes nationally, but how the hell do you refer to your song Shit Town without saying shit when you're on terrestrial radio?
I think on that one you just got to say the name. You just have to say Shit Town. I have to tell you, that song is, I think every young person in the world at some point, I don't care if you're from Manhattan or Los Angeles, or Chicago, that you've had, some feeling that, the town that you were in, that you just need to get out from it and spread your wings and get to someplace else. What's so interesting about that song is I never expected to come back home. I never expected to be back in my hometown, but we've built United Fiber and Data and the Think Loud companies all here in our hometown, and we're employing people left and right, and we're watching the companies grow and thrive in this town. When we announced that we were bringing the companies here into York, of course, the very first question I got asked, I need to set this up by saying at the time my singer, Ed Kowalczyk, my childhood best friend, wasn't in the band. And there was a reporter that said, here you are basically back in this town, like, or do you still call it Shit Town? And I basically had to throw it away and say, well, actually, my singer wrote that song. I'm like, go ask him.
He's not in the band anymore.
And, of course, what's so awesome is that Ed is back in the fold. He's back in the band.
Yeah.
2017 was all about, reuniting. 2018 is going to be all about new music and lots of tour dates. And I got to tell you, the relationships inside the band, like the 8 years off that we had, literally just made us stronger than ever. I was just in New York City shooting photographs with the guys the other night, and classic, when most people are done their day at work, well, of course, we headed out to a bar, and I'm telling you, I think it was 5 a.m. Ed and I were walking literally in the middle of Broadway in New York City, and anyway, I will just say that one of us fell down in the middle of the street. It wasn't me, but it's like old times. Like, we're out having a blast. The new music sounds like that. It sounds refreshing and re-energized. And honestly, I can't wait to tell people about, new shows that we have coming up and get some of this music out to people.
Awesome. Yeah,
ton of new shows. So, Jim, you'll have to come out to a show.
Yeah.
We'll give you some backstage passes.
That'd be rad. I'd love to come out to a show. I mean, like I said, Throwing Copper, that album, I mean, it was, like I said, when I was in high school, I mean, that was, I don't know one person who didn't own that album, right? I mean, it was, I call it one of the definitive albums of the 90s. I mean, it's just an amazing, still this day you can listen to it, and it's still, the songs are just, amazing. So I would love to come to a live show sometime. Be so awesome.
You want to know a tidbit about that?
Yeah.
You want to know a tidbit about the Throwing Copper album? It's in the top 100 selling albums of all time. And don't believe me, it's on RIAA.com, which certifies album sales. So when people... because, it's funny, the drummer always says, Chad Gracie, the drummer, was like, man, I wish Google was around. We were naming our band, because when you put live in, you get, so many different things up. And he goes, we couldn't Google it to, find a name. And, live is like the silent assassin. And they're a tremendous band. And there's a reason they're called Live. When you go to a show, and that's why their fans are called Freaks, the Freaks for Live. And, they're just an amazing band live. I mean, they sound just like the album live, and they're really singing. So if they mess up, they stop it, and Ed will say, hey, at least we're playing live. And, there's no auto-tune or anything. The guys are playing their instruments. There's no Milli Vanilli. Believe me, I asked them to do that. I said, put me on stage with a microphone, pretend I'm singing, or guitar. I could be like another drummer or another bass player or something. And they were like, no, Bill, just stay there and take some Facebook Live videos for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to put you on the spot. Earlier you said if you put your mind to anything, you could do it. But singing, that's probably where you draw the line. Like you might need quite a few vocal lessons to make that one happen.
Listen, I've actually so we have a recording studio here in 210 York Street. It's a phenomenal recording studio that Chad Taylor runs and operates. So even if bands want to come in and play, they can hire him for that stuff. And listen, I've had the luxury of seeing so many bands and so many musicians come in here and try to write music and stuff. And for the 8 years that Ed was gone, Taylor would get so frustrated with different people and be like, man, if Ed was here, Ed would have just he would have shit out, and 10 albums by now. And sure enough, that man is a pro. Like him and Taylor and the guys working together, like the guy can write. The guy can, he plays his instruments. He can sing. He's got pipes. I mean, when all said and done, I mean, this band will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, and Ed Kowalczyk will come down as one of the great frontmans of his time. Like he is just. I mean, wait till you hear the new music, Jim. Man, I wish I could send you some of it, but Chad will kill me. It gives you goosebumps. I mean, the band is back. I mean, and
awesome.
You got to say, and for me. Coming from Nazareth, PA, Chad Taylor and convinced me to come to York, PA, and I was even like that, like, go to Shittown? Like, what are you talking about? But that's why we, decided to join forces and come here. And, not bad from a kid that came from a single mom who raised us being on welfare. And, we didn't have money to go to school. I had to go to the military, spent a lot of years in the military, a Desert Storm veteran. And so shout out to all the veterans out there that come from poor families, man. You use that as a vehicle to get you to a better place in your life, and you put your head down and use that discipline you learn from the military. You can achieve anything you want in the world and do anything with your life positive, So shout out to all those men and women in the armed forces that, protect our way of life still. So kudos to them, and I look forward to them, and, welcome to seeing them all at the live shows or at the races. So come up to us and say hello. We really love you guys and girls.
Definitely. Well,
amen, Bill. Amen.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. And I appreciate both you guys taking the time. I know you guys are busy. Thanks for phoning into the show, and we'll definitely, we'll definitely have to catch up again soon. We had a lot of fun today.
Thanks, awesome. Jim. This was awesome.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Hey, it's Rob Riggle.
And Sarah Tiana.
And you are listening to Riggle's Pit.
Yeah, and a ham horn. And we have a new podcast available on Apple Podcasts, podcast1.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
Every Thursday, we're going to sit around and we're going to talk about the things that really excite us, like life, comedy, sports, a lot of sports.
Ourselves.
A lot of Sarah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you join us.
I promised you guys an epic interview, and you know what? I delivered an epic interview on every front. I don't even know what to say about that. So much fun. Chad Taylor, Bill Hines, rock and roll legend Chad Taylor with the band live. Going to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point in time. I learned something new. One of the 100 highest-selling albums of all time. That's insane. You think about that. Every album ever made in the history of the world, and they're in the top 100. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Such an honor to have Chad Taylor on. Bill Hines, just an amazing guy. He's turning into a really good race car driver on a bet. Who would have thought, right? But thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. Man, please go and subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Subscribe to my other show, the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Subscribe to them both. Listen in. Make sure and leave those ratings, reviews. Much appreciated for all of you that do. If you want to get a hold of me, it's at Jim Beaver 15, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook groups as well. I like to talk to you guys, like to know what you're thinking about the shows, guests, and everything in between. It's always a good time to catch up with you guys. So please use the contact form at my website, downanddirtyshow.com. We will definitely do that. And, and I like chatting with you guys. Though. Seriously, man, engage me in some dialogue, even if it's not about the show, just about the Olympics or anything that's going on, racing, whatever, man. I will talk with you guys. I love talking on social media with my fans. So let me know, hit me up at Jim Beaver 15. We always like to chat with you guys. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Down and Dirty Radio Show Tuesdays, Project Action Thursdays. And, it's always a pleasure to be talking with you guys. Got big news coming on the Amy Hood front next week on Tuesday. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. So if you don't listen to my other show and you just listen to this one, we'll make the announcement here as well. So you won't be out of luck. But thank you guys. We are going to sign off here. And don't forget, you want to get in on that AMSL Ultimate Indy 500 fan experience. All you have to do is go to amsoil.com/Indy, and you can get involved in that. Also, thanks to Geico and TrueCar. And we will see you guys next week. Be safe. As always, game on.
Cruise warning, former NFL player threat. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. A woman close to 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz warned the FBI in January he had rifles, saying, "I know he's going to explode." That's according to a transcript of the tip to the FBI's call center obtained by the Associated Press. The FBI has acknowledged its failure to investigate the tip about Cruz. He's accused of killing 17 people at a high school in Parkland, Florida. Earlier today, President Trump again called for arming teachers and other school employees.
And you would tell people that they're inside. And the beauty is it's concealed. Nobody would ever see it unless they needed it.
Former Miami Dolphins offensive lineman Jonathan Martin is in a Los Angeles police custody after a threatening Instagram post mentioned two former teammates who had harassed him. An official says the post included a photo of a shotgun, the Instagram usernames of former Miami Dolphins players Richie Incognito and Mike Pouncey. I'm Tim McGuire.